deduplication and cleanup, a process that will culminate into the 2021 Provisional Register of Voters. And I'm saying will culminate because this is something yet to be consolidated. We also took time to share the election calendar and legal framework with stakeholders who included political parties, civil society organizations, faith-based organizations, cooperating partners, and indeed yourselves, the media. Additionally, the Commission launched the 90-day electronic verification of voter details on the Provisional Register of Voters, and this already is underway and is scheduled or will run from 7th of February to 7th of May 2021. And I hope that both the general public and you colleagues in the media have been utilizing this to the maximum level possible. We are pleased to announce that this is going very well and the response is actually quite overwhelming, and we thank the stakeholders for utilizing this avenue for verifying their details. During this period, I must mention that the Commission will also be receiving objections as prescribed in the Electoral Process Act. So as in our earlier briefing, if there's anybody that feels that somebody who is on the register, of course following the laid down guidelines as per the law, one can object one being on the register. And if the grounds are valid, that person can be removed from the voters register. And therefore, during this period of 90 days, we are receiving those objections. These processes are critical to ensuring the establishment of a clean and credible register for this year's general election. As always been highlighted, the Commission remains committed to continuously provide updates on the progress of activities. And true to our word, we have come back today to provide an update on the disaggregated data of the Provisional Register of Voters. At this point, to just recap, the Commission recorded a provisional total of 7,020,749 registered voters. And this is what was announced at the end of the exercise in terms of the numbers that were captured by the Commission. Let me just recap that. At the end of the exercise, the Commission had announced that it had recorded a provisional total of 7,020,749 registered voters. After deduplication, the Provisional Register now stands at, please take this carefully, after the deduplication process, the Provisional Register now stands at 7,002,393. So after the cleanup and deduplication, the Provisional Register now stands at 7,002,393 registered voters, representing a 0.2% marginal reduction from the initial 83.4% to 83.2% of eligible voters, and this is arising from duplicate records. As you recall, during the exercise, there were quite a number of those allegations that did pop up, that somebody had registered twice and so on, and we did highlight that during the deduplication, these people will be found and double records will be removed. And so this reduction is as a result of those duplicate records. So from the initial 7,020,749, which we had registered and announced to the public, after this exercise, we now stand at 7,002,393. Out of the provisional total now, which stands at 7,002,393, 3,739,8 971. 3,739,971 are female, representing 53.4%, while 3,262,422 are male, representing 44.6%. So we have more female registered voters this time around, even higher than what we had in 2016. And a credit to all the female voters that turned out in numbers. So the female voters are in majority this time around, accounting for 53.4%, whilst the male voters are representing 44.6%. At provincial level, when you're looking at those that registered at provincial levels and in terms of gender disaggregation, Western Province accounts for the highest number of female registered voters, which stands at 59% of the provincial registered voters. So all the voters that are registered in Western Province, of the total, 59% are female. And this is the highest when you compare in all the provinces. We'll be able to share with you these breakdowns so that you can have a look at those. In terms of numbers, Lusaka Province accounts for the highest number of registered voters, representing 17.7%, whilst Northwestern is the lowest at 5.5% of the total provisional register of voters. Lusaka is the highest, and this is despite it also having the highest number of what one might term as migratory voters, those that were registering in Lusaka but to vote elsewhere. Lusaka had the highest number in that regard. But after the cleanup, Lusaka still stands out as the highest number in terms of registered voters, accounting for 17.7%. Allow me to give you a breakdown by province, starting with the lowest registered in terms of numbers, right up to the highest. This is in terms of Lusaka. So as alluded to, Northwestern Province accounts for 5.5%, with a total registered of 384,452. This is followed by Muchinga Province at 5.7% of the total registered votes, with 401,542. Allow me also to just highlight the gender dimension. So I'll start again. This is important. So Northwestern, accounting for 5.5%, with 384,452, with female representation at 53.2%, whilst male representation at 56.8%. Muchinga Province, 401,542, representing 5.7% of the total registered votes, registered voters, apologies, not votes, registered voters, with female 53.8%, whilst males 46.2%. In third is Western Province, third lowest, Western Province, with 6.4%, accounting for 6.4% of the total registered voters, at 447,143, with female, as earlier indicated, which is the highest representations of female, 59%, whilst male registered voters at 41%. This is followed by Luapula. Luapula Province, accounting for, my line of sight. Luapula at 8% in terms of the total registered voters. This is 562,230, with female 55.1%, whilst males 44.9%. Then Northern Province, representing 8.6% of the total registered voters at 600,859, with female 53.7% and Northern male 46.3%. Central Province, accounting for 9.5% of the total registered voters, with 666,640, with females accounting for 52.4%, whilst males at 47.6%. This is followed by Southern Province, which is accounting for 11.1% of registered voters, with 778,099 registered voters, 54% females, and 46% males. This is then followed by Eastern Province at 12.8%, with 896,213 voters, females accounting for 55%, whilst males accounting for 45%. Second highest is Copperbelt, with 14.6% of total registered voters. This translates into 1,023,223 voters, females accounting for 50.5%, whilst males accounted for 49.5%. And as earlier indicated, Lusaka is the highest, with 17.7% of the total registered voters, with total numbers of 1,241,992 registered voters, females 51.8%, whilst males at 48.2%. Allow me to correct something. 46.6. Okay. So in terms of the gender dimension at national level, like I earlier indicated, the total is 7,002,393 registered voters after the deduplication exercise. Females accounting for 53.4%, with 3,739,971, whilst males are at 46.6%. I'd earlier mentioned 44. Apologies for that. 46.6%, with 3,262,422. So that is where we stand with regards to the provisional register. So please note that these numbers are provisional and may change due to the following: valid objections. So depending on the number of objections that we are going to receive as a commission of people that should not be on the register, this might affect the number. Valid appeals of those that will appeal that I should be on the register and for one reason or the other I'm not appearing. Notification of death, transfers, delimitation, among other factors. Let me mention as well that the physical inspection of the register, as was earlier communicated, is scheduled to be undertaken from 29th of March to 2nd of April. As provided for by the law, the CEO, which is the Chief Electoral Officer, which is myself, will publish the notice in the Gazette notice that the register for polling stations has been certified. The register published in the Gazette notice will replace all registers of voters that had previously been prepared for that polling station. So what this simply means is that after the certification, all other registers will be null and void, and this will supersede that. And this is the register that will be used now for the polls for 2021 12th August general elections. In conclusion, let me reiterate that this is a provisional register of voters. Again, it's very, very important that this is well captured. This is not the final register of voters. This is a provisional register of voters. The final register of voters will be certified on 9th May 2021. We also have for you colleagues in the media and indeed the general public breakdown of the statistics by district as well as constituency, including the respective gender dimension at that level. This data is so long for me to read out, but we'll issue you with those handouts for those statistics for your review. This data will also be placed on our different platforms for the public to be able to access. For those interested in the district data and the constituency level data, please visit our platforms and you'll be able to access this information. At this point, I thank you so much for coming again and really appreciate the continued partnership that we continue to enjoy with you colleagues in the media. Allow me to hand over to Patricia.
Thank you, CEO. We'll give you an opportunity to ask questions. The tradition is that you tell us your name, the media institution you are representing, and then you ask a question. So we'll be taking 2 questions at the go, and if you can begin now.
Very straightforward, no question.
Looks like we are good to go. Going once? Is that a hand?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been receiving some queries about the days that you are allocated to the physical inspection of the details in the register. People saying the number of days are too few here. The period is too short for them to inspect the register physically. Are you considering those?
Yeah. First, I must mention that this, when you follow how the Commission has been conducting its business in terms of verification, it's the same pattern throughout, even in 2016. The period for verification is usually shorter. Colleagues who help me recollect for 2016, I believe it was, yes, 2 weeks, 14 days. This time it's 1 week. And the argument they're also giving is that why have you given a longer verification using online provisions, including USSD. This was the same even with regards to voter registration. The online registration ran for a much longer period. It was launched in September, if you recall. But physical registration only commenced, who remembers? I just spoke to those dates.
The question again?
Yeah? The physical registration only commenced in November, on 9th, whilst the online was launched in September. It's the same pattern. And you need to be alive to the fact that now we have COVID, which is at its peak. People should take advantage of this. And we did hear the cries of the stakeholders that the online was quite segregative in terms of those that didn't have internet access. And we have gone further to bring forward the platform for use of USSD, which anybody can access from every part of this country. using the simplest of feature phones, and you'll be able to access this feature. And you don't even need to have internet, and you don't even need to have talk time to do that. And it makes it very, very easy. And once you do that, there's no need for you to go to the physical verification center to go and verify. Once you verify your details, that's it. Unlike what we had with the registration exercise, when you did the online registration, you'd still be required to go to the physical center to go and complete your registration. So we anticipate very few people, so the only ones that will be required to go to the physical inspection are those that will have issues so that you can have your card replaced. So if you have an error on your card after you verify, then you can go for physical inspection so that you're reissued with a new card. So we don't expect everybody to be there, and you shouldn't be there, because really, unless you just want to go and see how the register looks, provisional the register looks like, but there's no point. So the time is more than sufficient, and we ensure that we avail it to everybody that will come through that would not have done the verification using the available platforms. But we encourage everybody to do so. I hope that you have all verified. Colleagues here, how many are verified? From the media. This is worrying, colleagues. Before you leave here, please do. Or maybe you didn't register as voters. Yeah? It's very important that you verify your details. You risk being disenfranchised if you do not. Because when you come to vote and you find that your details in the register are incorrect with what you have as your ID, you will be turned away, and you'll be saying, these people turned me away. So please do verify. It takes less than a minute. Even now you can do *214# and you to give you the prompts. It's a very, very easy and straightforward approach. Like I said, the response has been so overwhelming thus far, and we encourage everybody to do that. Let's ensure that we keep safe. We've seen the numbers of COVID, and it's not a joke, ladies and gentlemen. Every one of us is losing either a friend, a beloved one, and so on. And we're hearing of somebody we know. And there is also a danger of the third wave. And we want to ensure that as we get into elections 12th August, we are able to manage the COVID pandemic as it were. And the Commission does not become the transmitter for COVID. So let's minimize that. Where you can verify using what is available, the digital platforms, please do so. It will not cost you a penny unless you want to use data bundles. But if you even with that, really, it's just a few minutes and you're done.
Okay. Do we have any further questions? I can see the house is quiet, so thank you so much for coming. Before you go, we have some speeches as well as detailed data of information that CEO spoke to in terms of constituencies, the districts, as well as national level, speaking with my colleague Raphael. You will also pick the speeches from there, and please remember to also fill in the register. Raphael, I don't know if you have the register, or it's been going round. Remember to put your email addresses, correct email addresses, so that it's easy for us to reach you. And after that, I'm just trying to check something real quick. Okay, so as you go out, there is a snack by the doorstep here and some water and drinks for you to just finish your breakfast this morning. Thank you for coming and have a good day.